Thank you, Regional Chair and Council members, for the opportunity to speak to the committee as a whole. Having recently moved to Durham Region, I
Could you please just talk into the mic so we can hear you? Thank you.
Hello. Does that work? Okay. I'm a new community member. I live in Ajax. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mayor, when you did the Community Safety Symposium in December. I love the neighborhood. I've started volunteering already. I come before you today to discuss the Durham Region Lead Service Replacement Program. There's limitations on it for the wartime homes. My neighborhood alone has 200 wartime homes in it that would be affected by the limitations of the lead service replacement program. And by raising awareness, my objective is to obtain the committee's direction to the Waterworks Department to honor its commitments listed in its program, and then maintain its responsibility of its portion of the pipes, no matter if it's lead pipes or not, and initiate a more accessible and transparent communication strategy to inform community members about the lead service program, as well as the dangers of lead pipes, and as well as the region versus homeowners' responsibility of water pipes. So this slide deck that you'll see is just a visual. I'll talk through it just to kind of give you a sense of what pipes are all about in Durham Region. I don't know if I can push a button on here to move it forward. Oh, there we go. Oh, I turned it off. Oh, shucks. Okay, so I bought a home in August on Queen Street, the oldest neighborhood in Ajax, I understand. It is a wartime home built in the 1940s. I understood before I purchased the home that it did have lead pipes. I did confirm with Durham Region that it did have a lead pipe program before I purchased the home, so I felt confident I can resolve the matter in an affordable way. This is the lead pipe program as Durham Region had presented on its website back in August when I was looking at the lead pipe program. As you'll see, lead pipes are actually very common in our area. And hopefully we'll be getting rid of them soon because there's significant dangers to lead pipes on children, adults. The blue portion of this diagram here is the homeowner's responsibility up to the property boundary curb stop, or what I would call a water service connection. The orange part of this diagram is the region-owned responsibility for the lead pipes, where they would turn on and off the water to give you service, and then it connects to the water main, which is usually under the road, but in this case in Queen Street, being so old, it doesn't have a sidewalk, so they're actually on our properties. So when I completed my lead pipes in my home and called up the region to replace theirs, they gave me water filtration system, which is great. They surveyed this site. They discovered that the water service connection is much closer to my home. As you'll see a picture here, this is a very common experience in our neighborhood where the water service connection is right against the house as opposed to at the end of the road. So it's closer than they expected. It's not unique to my house. So in this situation, the Waterworks Department had informed me that they would, instead of replace the lead pipes, they would actually relocate their water service connection to where they thought that it would be closer to the water main to be more up to date with the newer home situation. So I actually had to dig way up to the end of the house, much, much further, which costs about $6,000 more than I was anticipating. And it didn't make sense to me because the water service connection is where I thought that the region would be replacing the pipes. I just want to note also the Waterworks Department, completely professional, very responsive. Their demeanor was very professional. No issues with them personally. It's just an issue that I identify that our neighborhoods are going to be facing. So I asked the Waterworks Department to provide me a case scenario. It appears that unless anybody else knows, I'm the first case scenario where I've identified that there's lead pipes and wanted to change it in a wartime home situation. So this is the first case scenario. Maybe we can do something about it to prevent any issues or lack of clarity in the future. Waterworks Department did provide me a bylaw that did clearly...
Have
sorry.
to ask you to wrap up, please.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Thank
I'll just move forward then.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move a motion to extend by 2 minutes.
Moved by Councillor McQuaid England, seconded by Councillor Joe Neal. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so this is just a very brief description of how the pipes work in old Wartime home situations. It's actually a split situation of pipes, which is uncommon for the new homes where every home has their own pipe situation. In our situation, the pipes are split. So even though I changed my lead pipes, my neighbor's lead pipes are on my lawn, and because it's on my lawn, I'm responsible financially if these pipes burst, which is very... I don't think that's very fair because their water service connection is still there, so they're still technically connected, but I was informed that I would be responsible for these pipes even though I have nothing to do with them any longer. So I'm just hoping that we can resolve this. So I've tried to work with the Works Department to get a fair response to this lead pipe situation and the water service connection because I can't touch their pipes. They relocated their pipes. I was without water for a while to be able to afford to connect to their pipes. This new website diagram here is very recent. They did take the old one off after I did raise the issue that they weren't following their program. And they changed the color of the water service connection curb stops. So I don't think that provides any more clarity in terms of responsibility of Durham Region's pipes and property owners' pipes. So just in conclusion, I'm requesting written confirmation that the region will maintain responsibility for their pipes, especially in split pipe connections. I'm requesting that the Works Department lay out very clearly to community members the dangers of lead pipes and the lead pipe program. And I'm requesting that I be reimbursed for the costs associated with replacing Durham Region's pipes on my property. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Questions we have. Councillor Parrish.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm surprised that this is the first time
Sorry,
that this is the first time this happened. Did the region specifically say to you that they'd never had this situation in the wartime homes before?
Yes, I met with the staff and requested that, and it was provided to me in writing that there was not a case scenario where a lead pipe has been removed in a wartime home situation where the pipes were rezoned rather than replaced. So I got written confirmation that that's a first-timer.
Do you know when the region took over responsibility for water service in this area?
When the region took over water service?
Do you know when they did?
All I know is that there are bylaws, Durham Region bylaws.
They took it over in 1974.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Wow.
And when you refer in your presentation, you're referring to what's called a Y connection?
Yes.
So just to illustrate, a pipe comes in from the road and splits in two in a Y and services you and your neighbor.
Yes.
And this, I understand, is how it was serviced throughout the entire area.
In the wartime home areas, yes.
Yes, yes. And to the best of your knowledge, all of those Y connections are lead pipes?
Most of them in the area where there's been new homes built post the 50s, there might have not been a Y connection, but...
Is there any sidewalks in the wartime home area?
I think there are like one or two near the schools, but not very many at all.
Generally speaking, there's no sidewalks in there, and there's no way that an owner can easily tell where their own property ends and where the road allowance begins.
Yes.
So, and the region's basically said to you that you're responsible for replacing the pipe from where to where?
From the water service connection, which is that yellow, up to my property, which in my case was right beside my property. So I can't legally touch their property to change the pipes up to the water main.
Right.
But they told me I'm responsible to pay for that.
So in a more typical situation, this yellow line would be the property line. It would be roughly where the sidewalk was, would be roughly where you saw the little thing coming out of the sidewalk to turn on and turn off. But in your case, that's not the case. It's out on the road.
Yes.
And I just want to make this clear. This was the first time the region knew this?
According to the staff, yes.
And this is the staff from the Works Department?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. Councillor Jordan?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I'm surprised as well because I'm wondering, you've spoken to your neighbors and were they aware of this situation?
I have gotten to know my neighbors a little bit through some volunteering I'm doing. My neighbors are generally not aware of lead pipes being in the neighborhood. They're not aware of the lead service replacement program. I'm not sure if that's because of the accessibility and transparency of the information online. And half of my neighborhood is actually renters, low-income renters, and half of them are low-income owners. So the awareness and accessibility online might not be the best way to inform and educate and support the lead pipe removal program to start happening in this area.
I see. And how you mentioned that when you purchased the property, you were aware there were lead pipes. How were you aware of that situation?
I've known about lead pipes for a long time. I'm a social worker. I work with kids. It's got some very detrimental developmental delay effects for kids. It causes aggression in adults. So for me, as a social worker, planning for my family, I wanted a home that didn't have lead pipes in it. But I was more than willing to work to replace those lead pipes because the neighborhood and house is beautiful and worth it.
So it was your own, because of your professional experience
Yes.
and your own initiative that you were able to determine that it did have lead pipes
Yes.
in. And I can understand your concern, definitely. I wonder, are you aware of any programs in other municipalities? Because I know that there has been work on this program and perhaps more aggressively in other municipalities to replace lead pipes.
Yes, coming from Toronto, where I still work, they have actually low-income programs to support low-income families who want to replace their lead pipes, as well as a very similar program to the Durham Region Lead Pipe Replacement Program, where it's a shared responsibility to the water service connection. So the program itself is, in Toronto, is very similar, and they do have low-income options for low-income families.
And is the program communicated differently than what ours is, that you'd have to actually go out and seek the information?
It's a go out and seek the information type situation as well, but it is available on their website, similar to Durham Region's website.
I see. And the other issue, if I understand it, is that you understood that you were responsible to replace your pipes to the water service connection.
Yes.
And it was only later that you found out then that somewhat changed that information because then, because of where it was located.
Well, to me, the information hasn't changed. It's still clear to me that the region's responsibility to change the water service connection up to the water main for the lead pipes is still the region's responsibility. I've gone up to the point where I can't actually move the pipes any longer. So the information hasn't changed except for the communication to me that this is an odd case and therefore I would have to pay for it, which I think it would be very difficult for newcomers coming into the neighborhood, purchasing homes, or people trying to sell homes when this lead pipe situation is happening. So I think it's really important to resolve the clarity of the issue and also the inequity that this program has for wartime homes, because it will cost significantly more for wartime home people to be able to replace their service pipes by about $5,000 to $10,000. So I think in order to make it fair, I think the water service connection, it can be rezoned as Durham Region would like to rezone the pipes to be more update to the modern structures of the water pipe situation, but it shouldn't be on the cost to the homeowners because that's the structure that was created back in the 40s.
And your other concern, just to be clear, is that the water entering your neighbor's home is actually on pipe going through your property, and you've been told you're responsible for that as well?
Yes, and I'm not sure why that's happening, but it's still a lead pipe, and it's connecting to my neighbor until they're able to afford to change their pipes, and hopefully with resolution they'll be able to afford it more. The region will come and replace their pipes, and it will no longer be on my property. But until they can afford it or anything like that, according to the region, I'm responsible, which is not, it shouldn't be the case.
Okay. Well, thank you. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to share.
No, I think that's everything. It is fairly straightforward. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You, Councillor Joe Neal?
Yes, through the chair. Before you bought the house, did you have a home inspection done, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. And did the home inspection pick up the fact that there could be lead pipes in the...
Yes.
Okay. So you kind of went into it kind of knowing there was some
Yes.
financial... Did you price that into the house?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that being the case, though, like my understanding is the region doesn't take responsibility from the property line into the house. So I'm just, but you're asking that, like, what is the ask? You're asking the region to basically replace all the pipe right up to your water meter inside the house at the region's cost?
No, I'm asking for the Works Department to maintain the responsibility as laid out, as I understood on their website with the original diagram, which is to maintain their responsibility to replace the pipes up to the water service connection. You see how it sort of triangles in? That's the water service connection where you turn the water on and off. I can't legally touch that according to bylaw 72/2008. So I can't touch those pipes. I can't replace them. The region should be responsible to replace them because they're lead pipes. So my ask is not to go up to the water meter, just to go up to the place where they turn the water on and off for me, and then I'm responsible for the remaining portion. But what ended up happening for me is I was responsible to pay for it right up to the water main because the Works Department actually closed off this water service station without digging, dug a new hole right at the end of the property and put a new water service connection in, and then I had to go all the way and dig over there, which was about $5,000-6,000 more than I anticipated, and completely unanticipated.
So the issue is they relocated that stop that was in right beside your house. They put that back out to the property line, and then they want to charge you from that to your house? Or I'm confused a bit.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah, whereas I wouldn't have had to pay it if they just replaced that portion with the portion of the old lead pipes to the water service connection.
So, Mr. Chair, if questions were to be directed to staff about this, should that be done now or during the Works Committee portion of the meeting?
I suggest during Works Committee, and I probably will get them from the Ajax councillors, but yes.
Sorry, what's that?
I said during the Works Committee, we can ask questions at the committee, and I'm sure the Ajax councillors will be asking some as well.
I'm sure they will. Thank you.
Councillor Chapman.
Just some clarity. First off, you said that did the region, when they put in the new curb stop, did they change the pipe between the new curb stop and your old curb stop? Or did you do that?
I did.
You did that. So
Yeah.
the region didn't do that and then charge you?
No.
They're just saying it's your responsibility.
Yes.
And this diagram and the other one that you showed, the only real difference between it is they both say the curb stop at the property boundary.
Mm-hmm.
The other one just says it may be located, locations may vary, right? So like in my case, at my home, my property line is on my side of the sidewalk, but my curb stop is on the other side. So their responsibility is to my property line, not to the curb stop, right? The curb stop just makes it easy if they do it in the right place. Would you agree with that?
Well, the water service connection is Durham Region's responsibility, so regardless if it's a curb stop or if it's a property line, the water service connection is a tool that you have to use that residents can't turn on and off their water. So if they replace that, they should be connecting.
So
the
you're
residents.
suggesting it's the region's responsibility to go to the curb stop no matter where it is, so that means they would have to go onto your private property to do that?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Sanders.
Thank you. How many homes are in this area?
In this area?
Yeah.
Oh, in my area?
Yes.
200 in my area alone, but I understand there's about 600 wartime homes.
Okay, so there's roughly 200. But you changed lead pipes because you know the side effects or the dangers that are associated with lead pipe.
Yes.
Okay, so you did that to protect your home and your children and your family. But when you did that, you still got the lead pipes coming in because of your neighbor's connection still. So it's still coming through your lines.
No,
Okay.
because Durham Region,
I thought there was
the
a
Waterworks
Y.
Department made a new line. So, and I'll show you
So you're protected still because it's a single line to your house
Yeah,
now?
I have
Because you
clean
mentioned a
water
Y,
now.
so I'm afraid that the Y was still bringing the lead into your house.
Yeah, no, thankfully
Okay.
not. So the new pipe actually goes right from, right straight to the water main. But the old pipe's still there, but I'm not connected. It's just connected to my neighbors.
Okay.
Which will happen in situations when people want to replace their lead pipes. You might have a neighbor that can't afford to change it or doesn't understand the importance of changing it. So that Y will still exist until we mandate lead pipe removal. But so my end is dead.
Yes.
It's just my neighbors that's continuing. But I don't understand why I would be responsible for that Y if I'm not
Okay,
connected.
so when you first contacted the region, they said they cover you to the connection of wherever it connects to your house, the service.
Well, they said that they would actually
So-
cover the right up to the water service connection.
Right,
turn on,
and
turn
when
off.
they started digging, it was beside your house.
Yes,
So then it changed. They said we're going to the boundary line?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No further questions? Being none? No, thank you very much for your delegation.
Thank you very much,
Appreciate it.
everyone.
Thank you.